Hi everyone, this is Anne, and it's been a while, but I wanted to do an update video about how things have been going because the baby is now almost 9 weeks. Like tomorrow she's 9 weeks old, and a lot has happened and she has changed so much.
Sophia.
Oh, boo boo. Hey, hey, lieve kind. Ja, ja, ja. Ja, oei, wat doe jij wel op de Ja, 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 natuurlijk, natuurlijk.
Hey, Sophia.
Those eyes goes. I'm doing really well. She's doing really well. My recovery, I've been recovered since like pretty fast, that I didn't have any pain anymore or just felt like normal. But I got the okay to exercise and have sex and stuff last week. It was pretty late that I had my first appointment because my doctor was busy, but she said everything was good. My uterus was back small and everything looked fine, so I could do whatever. So I just wanted to talk about my experience the first week and the first weeks after the baby was born, how I experienced it, and then after the first weeks, how things got easier. Because the first weeks, to me, it was kind of more like a shock experience, not really by her being there, but just the whole thing. Your hormones are basically going crazy, and it's kind of different for everyone, but there's a thing called the baby blues, and that is when you feel down and sad, and that's usually the first 2 weeks to a month after birth. For me, thankfully, it only lasted day 4 to day 9 or day 10 after the birth, because I felt the first day we were home, I just felt really kind of down often, and sometimes even almost all day, and I would have these moments where I just burst out in tears and I was crying, and I just felt really sad, and I even sometimes had moments of regret. I was thinking about, our life before, me and my boyfriend together, all our habits, our routines, what we could do together, and now things completely changed. I'd like you can't just do the things you used to do, and you have a little person now you're responsible for, and everything kind of changes in the moment when the baby's born. And when your hormones, like after birth, they go all crazy, and that's why I felt that way. And because of those feelings, I started thinking those things. But let me tell you, as soon as that's over, that completely goes away. Now, that was my case. Some people have postpartum depression, and for them it stays and they have to get help. But for me, that wasn't the case. It was just a case of the baby blues, and after day 10, it was such a relief that I felt normal again. I felt like myself, because I really didn't feel like myself when I was experiencing that. And that was really a really sucky feeling. But after that, I felt back like myself, and I had no regrets whatsoever. But in that moment, I felt that, which was pretty hard to go through. But thankfully, I had my partner to comfort me and support me, and also my family, of course. Because it's not just the emotional aspect, but then there is the baby. And I'm self employed. I could only take 2 weeks of maternity leave. Then I had to get back to work. I make jewelry and also do YouTube videos, ASMR videos. And they say, oh, a baby is a full-time job, and online there are people who are like saying, even my boyfriend has mentioned it, like, oh, how hard is it, like, oh, taking care of a child all day, oh, it's like a walk in the park. It's not like you're in a coal mine or something, but that's like an extreme example. Of course there are worse things to do and like easier things to do, and working in a factory is usually easier than working in the coal mines also. But the thing is, a child is a full-time job. It's really true. It's not just a full-time job, it's like an all day all night job pretty much. Of course you love your child, and You want to take care of your child, but at the same time, those first weeks when they are a newborn, they are not really responding to you yet. All they do is kind of cry, eat, and sleep, and in a very, very irregular schedule. And lots of babies also, their bowels are developing, they have cramps, they cry. Some people have cry babies that cry all day, cry for hours in a day, and you can't judge them, you can't really make them stop, and it's very difficult to go through that. Thankfully, we did not have a cry baby, but she also had the typical time around 6 weeks and before that, where she sometimes had gas and a little bit of cramps, and that made her cry and like harder to settle. But also, things are so unpredictable, especially the first, before the baby has any idea about night or day or any kind of schedule with sleep. She was just eating, like sometimes she was on my boob cluster feeding, because I breastfeed, and cluster feeding is when a child will be hours drinking on your boob sometimes, or she will do it every hour, half an hour. You're stuck on the couch. For me, some might like that. For me, I like to do things. I like to do things. I don't like to just sit around on a couch all day long. Because at the point, that was what I was doing. And I was like, how in the world can I ever get work done? I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't clean. I couldn't even cook. My job, couldn't do that. Thankfully, she is napping during the day pretty regularly now. And at night, she's sleeping usually 5 hours. And then 3 hours after that. Which is way, way better than in the beginning. Except now she's going through a growth spurt, so she's up in the night more now. But other than that, she sleeps for longer at night now. But in the beginning, it would be all day, all night, feeding 1 hour. In the beginning, sometimes 3 hours in between, but then suddenly she would get periods of 1 hour, and then she would fuss. And I was also not sure, like, why is she not sleeping? And I didn't realize I had to kind of help her get to sleep, because she doesn't just fall asleep on her own. We kind of had to rock her and soothe her. But now we have a whole kind of a thing we do, like a routine where we put her in her sleeping bag, which is kind of like a swaddle sleeping bag, and we put on a white noise machine, and it's kind of sleep cues that she knows she can sleep there and it's quiet. But she was here with us in the living room, baby in the mama room, which is like the swing seat, and things were just all over the place and couldn't get anything done. Sometimes she would cry, she had a little bit of cramps, or she would just be fussy, and we had to basically carry her all the time. And then around 4 weeks or something, she started smiling socially at us, which was really, really nice. Like, she started responding and smiling at you and making these little sounds. She's also been very strong since the beginning, like lifting up her head. Like when she's up like this, she already is like this, like while looking around, like, what the fuck? It's just really, really strong since the beginning. And she's also very alert. She's actually ahead of the normal like age when they do that, where the midwife and the doctor said she was like very alert for her age, and also already very responsive and stuff. So she is doing very well regards her development, her milestones, and also her body. Like the cluster feeding, what I said with the breast milk, it's a normal thing babies do. It establishes your milk supply. At this time, it is pretty established. And that's what they do, kind of, to make sure you have enough milk and to increase your milk supply. The more you are on your boob, the more it increases the milk supply, which they will need also as they grow. They need more and more and more milk. So that's been going really well. She was born 2 kilo 800, which is kind of on the lower end of the spectrum, and now she is slightly above average. She's like around 5 kilos now. So she went up like in a chart. Same with her height. She was born 49 centimeters, which is average for a girl, and she is now 56 centimeters. And her skull circumference is also same prognosis, like 39 centimeters. She had her shots also last week for some stuff. She cried a little bit in the evening for that, but that was it. She's nothing else. She's just like always. She's now very like cheerful often when she sees us, or she wakes up and she starts smiling and laughing, and it's so adorable. She just cries when she's hungry, when she wants to eat. And also when she gets bored, like a lot of babies can just sit somewhere and be happy with it. She can now do it more than in the beginning, but after a while she's like fed up with it and she wants to do something else. She hates tummy time, like putting them on their tummy to develop their neck and head muscles. But when she's on my chest, she does that anyway, so it trains her muscles. And you can also do that with having them on you and them like lifting up their head when they like lay on your chest. Also with breastfeeding in the beginning, I had like pain, like I had these like little blisters, like not blisters but wounds on my nipples. But I just kept doing it. You gotta kind of persevere. The first 3 days, not much comes out of your nipples. I think a lot of women give up too easily because they think, oh, it's not working, I don't have enough milk. But the first days, you're not supposed to have a lot of milk. It's colostrum that comes out. It's the most nutritious for your baby. And day 3, my milk came in. My boobs, they were really big. Like I'm pretty flat chested, but then I suddenly had like, they were so hard, it kind of hurt. It really hurt in the beginning. Like my skin was super tight because they expanded so much. It was like rock hard. It was very uncomfortable. And I had these little wounds on my nipples also from her sucking and my nipples not being used to that, which is very common. But those went away completely as well. And everything kind of fell into place, and it just kind of gotta stick with it and gotta keep doing it and not think that you're failing or anything, because it's always like that with breastfeeding. The doctor also said it's not like an easy thing that people think. It's like in the beginning it hurts and your milk got established, the baby cluster feeds, can be on your boobs for hours together with you have to endure the pain when they're on it then, because it really hurts in the beginning. And for some people it doesn't work though. Like some people have issues with their milk, they really don't have any, or they don't have enough, or that can also happen. But I'm just grateful I can breastfeed. In public I haven't really done it, only with a cover, because my boyfriend is not comfortable with me just like whipping out my tits for everyone to see. Oh, there's like a butterfly. No, it's a moth. Okay. What is it doing? Okay, I think it's just going to the window. I'll put it out later. So yeah, in the beginning I was really locked up in the house. I was just kind of scared to take her out. Still very emotional. I really don't want to see much people. I was just feeling so sad often. I just wanted to be by myself. Like get used to the situation. And now, let me tell you, the things I felt, it goes away. Like it's the first week and weeks, the baby blues, it goes away. I think that's like the main message I wanted to share in this video, that things really get better, and I couldn't imagine life without our baby anymore. It's like, I just like when she's sleeping now, napping, when it takes too long, I want to go wake her up. That's how it is. Like I just want to spend time with her. And we definitely want a second baby also, but just gonna wait a bit. I want to fully like build up my body again. With that I mean do weight training again, get rid of the excess like little fat that I have left, and then build up a strong body again before I head into pregnancy, because I know I'll probably get morning sickness again. I can't eat much, I'm gonna lose weight again, I'm gonna lose muscle. And I have recovered really well. I have no stretch marks, my figure is back, and I want this to happen again the second time, but for that I want to build up my body again, so you know I can have it a second. I'll kind of show you. This is the end of the day. I've eaten much foods but basically I'll try and show you how it is. So this is my stomach now. The line, this will still go away. This like dark, like the line, it's already faded a lot, but it will fade even more. So stomach is pretty back, and there's not much extra skin. Just here is like a little bit of like fat, you know. But once that fat is gone, everything's back to normal, and I can build up muscle, because I notice I've lost muscles in my legs. Just my legs are less strong than they used to be, and yeah, I just want to build that back up. So yeah, things have been really good, especially after like 6 weeks. It got way better because she started to sleep longer during the night. because in the beginning it's so exhausting, let me tell you. Jesus Christ. And you have to breastfeed, which is already like heavy on the body. And then everything was like every 1, 2, 3 hours she was on my boobs, and then they're on your boob like for half an hour, sometimes an hour in the beginning, and it was like you're feeding all day, and even in the night and day, like they blend into each other and you're just so tired. And also with the cramps she had with her bowels developing around week 6, and then it just got better and better and better. Yeah, and now it's really good. She's more predictable. We know each other. We have more of a routine going on, and yeah. I'll probably insert some clips of her. I also shared some on my Instagram and of course on my Facebook, but I don't accept everyone to my Facebook. Yeah, I don't know what else I can say. I've been taking, in the beginning I wasn't taking anything. I wasn't taking any supplements. But then I was like, I couldn't cook much. Like, I basically had almost no time to even cook healthy. I was like, I had to carry her and stuff and breastfeed her all the time. And not eating as healthy as I used to. And for me, that's usually fine. Like, I can eat any way and feel great. Like, I've always diet doesn't have much of an effect on me, but it's still, I know it's very important. So I started taking a postnatal vitamin as well, because some days I was just not eating much at all. And it is important to eat well for yourself and for the baby, because whatever she doesn't get from me in my milk, she's gonna leach from my body. So if she doesn't get enough calcium from my diet, she's gonna take it from my bones, and I don't want to get fucked up bones. So that's what I've been doing. I take some omega-3 as well from algae, which is better than from fish. And that's about it. In Belgium, we also have to give babies vitamin D. Everyone has to do this. So 6 drops a day. That's what she's getting, and that's like everyone. That's standard here, because there's such a high prevalence of vitamin D deficiency, because we barely have sun and everyone's indoor all the time. And when there is sun, lots of people have to wear sunscreen. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, I probably forgot some stuff, but I might mention that in other videos. But if you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer. And I will see you next time. Bye!